Welcome back to our channel. Despite making TV history together, Barbara Feldon and Don Adams seldom ever interacted off-screen. At 91, Agent 99 is finally coming clean. Her marriage to a phony spy, the CEO who wanted her removed, and the tragic cause of her disappearance from Hollywood. The sinister backstory of America's favorite espionage comedy includes everything from stolen fortunes to hidden addictions. Barbara Feldon was born in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, on March 12, 1933, as Barbara Ann Hall. Together with her parents and older sister Patricia, she grew up in a peaceful suburban neighborhood. While her mother looked after the house, her father worked in the paper box factory. It was Barbara's artistic spark. Though she had no idea at the time how far it would lead her, she was pulled to acting because she loved the arts. She discovered acting in high school and fell in love with it right away. She trained for hours at the Pittsburgh Playhouse, a renowned institution for young actors. When it came time for college, she decided to pursue drama at Carnegie Institute of Technology because of her growing talent. Presently known as Carnegie Mellon College. By the time she graduated in 1955, she had established a solid acting foundation at one of the top drama schools in the nation. She joined the Delta Chi chapter of the Kappa Gamma sorority and was also involved in campus life. Feldon's enduring gaze and intense, nearly captivating look was one of the things that set her apart on screen. That's what made her performances so special. However, she didn't learn this at acting school. In fact, it was caused by her nearsightedness. Her glance was natural and seductive, as was the way she focused her vision. Furthermore, what may have been a minor annoyance in her daily life turned into one of her defining characteristics as an actress. With the intention of becoming an actor, Barbara Feldon moved to New York City in 1957. Although she was talented and ambitious, she had trouble finding parts, just like many newbies. She supported herself by working as a showgirl at the nightclub in Copacabana. Additionally, she participated in a Ziegfeld Follies revival. Although these jobs gave her more stage confidence, they didn't help her achieve her dream. There were few acting possibilities, so she needed to find another source of income. A fortuitous meeting at that point altered everything. She was encouraged to try modeling by Gillis McGill, a successful model she met at a party. Feldon was initially not persuaded. She did not consider modeling to be a permanent profession. However, McGill persisted, so she tried it. She swiftly made the transition to high fashion after beginning as a house model for designer Pauline Triguier. Made the industry a wonderful fit for her. She was soon earning much more money traveling for photo projects than she had as a struggling actress. Her success as a model brought her more than just financial security. It helped her learn how to work with cameras and project confidence. She gained knowledge on how to project personality in front of an audience as well as lighting and styling. Later on in her work, these abilities would be extremely helpful. Feldon unexpectedly ventured into television the same year. Through winning the $64,000 question on one of the most well-liked game shows at the time, rather than through acting. Given that she had only received mediocre grades in undergraduate drama studies, she made a daring decision by choosing Shakespeare as her subject. But she was adamant. She spent up to 14 hours a day studying, and her brilliance and composure astounded viewers when she made her stage debut. She lost her chance to double it on the $128,000 question a few weeks after winning the top prize. She experienced a brief moment of stardom after the victory. She and her husband established an art gallery in Greenwich Village with the prize money after her tale was featured in newspapers. Notwithstanding their efforts, the gallery, which specialized in abstract expressionist art, had financial difficulties. Feldon was once again looking for fresh chances after her husband went back to advertising a few years later. Then the time that would alter everything arrived. She starred in a commercial for the men's grooming product Revlon's Top Brass Hair Pomade. It was a straightforward advertisement. In front of the camera, Feldon called the male audience members tigers while lying on a tiger rug with animal prints. Totally unlike anything on TV at the time, it was sensual and playful. A sensation was created by the commercial. As a result of the incessant conversation, Feldon gained notoriety as Tiger Girl. It was exciting, but it was also annoying. She became well known. The pay was amazing. At one point, she disclosed that one commercial brought in more money than a whole season of Get Smart. Casting directors, however, now viewed her as only a commercial actor. Her appearances on Flipper, 12 O'Clock High, and The Man from U.N.C.L.E. were all guest spots. She was still not receiving the parts she desired, though. Then a surprise call came in. She was spotted in the Revlon commercial by Mel Brooks and Buck Henry, the makers of Get Smart. Their attention was drawn to more than simply her attractiveness, though. Another object caught their attention: charm, presence, and a charisma that can be useful in a comic role. Later, Leonard Stern, one of the show's producers, said that they took notice of Feldon's extremely sensual performance in the advertisement. Some did not think she was a good fit for the position. Due to her endorsement of a rival product, one of the show's advertisers raised an objection. Their CEO requested her termination just 2 weeks into the filming process. Feldon attempted to resist it. The advertisement had been filmed long before she was cast, she clarified. Even Revlon decided to stop airing it, but it didn't appear to make a difference. She had no control over the choice. Then the unexpected occurred. NBC was not going to give up. She remained on the program. She was invited for a picture op by the CEO who had attempted to fire her when Get Smart became a tremendous success a year later. She recognized her victory and grinned for the camera. However, this was not the only difficulty she encountered. It was already unusual at the time to play Agent 99. Women were typically portrayed as supporting roles in 1960s literature. Not high-level spying. They were frequently in distress and awaiting rescue if they were actively participating in the activity. The 99th agent was unique. She had intelligence, competence, and a constant sense of anticipation. Even though Don Adams' character Maxwell Smart was referred to as the top agent, everyone knew who actually completed the task. There was a reason for this balancing. Agent 99 was written by the show's writers, Mel Brooks and Buck Henry, as a fusion of the 1950s conservative woman and the 1960s emerging independent spirit. To preserve Max's dignity, she occasionally let him take the initiative, but she never had to demonstrate her superior intelligence. She was just. And then the problem of height. The fact that Feldon was 5 feet 9 inches taller than Adams presented a challenge in a field where the tallest male leads were expected. She frequently had to go barefoot or slump in scenes to correct it. Adams occasionally stood atop platforms to level the playing field. It was a minor detail, but it demonstrated how powerful women sharing the limelight was still unusual on television. Despite all of this, the show was a success. One of the most memorable comedies of its era was Get Smart, because to the chemistry between Feldon and Adams. 99 was usually composed and capable, whereas Max was awkward and overconfident. The show worked because of their relationship, and viewers adored it. Barbara Feldon once revealed an unexpected fact about Don Adams. He seldom practiced at all. Adams trusted his instincts, while other performers spent hours practicing every action and their lines. He had such lightning-fast timing that he could make a mediocre joke hilarious. It wasn't simply his personality that spoke with such clarity. He had modeled it after William Powell, an actor he loved for his quick delivery and rhythm. Adams fully trusted himself on set. He frequently altered words at the last minute or altered the timing of a joke to make it more humorous. That was effective for the slapstick and wordplay elements of the show, but it was difficult for some viewers to follow up. Barbara Feldon acknowledged that his brilliance could be difficult, but she still admired it. Whatever he threw into a scene, she had to adjust in real time. Adams valued spontaneity over the planned rehearsals that some directors and actors desired. It was a success. He took home 3 consecutive Emmys for Get Smart, demonstrating the accuracy of his intuition. In real life, Adams and Feldon were never a couple, despite their strong on-screen chemistry. Especially at the beginning, they had a professional, occasionally even formal, connection. For the most of the show, Adams was married, and Feldon had a life apart from set. She once claimed that there was no chance of romance because they were from different worlds. However, they eventually became good friends. When they got together once more for Get Smart, they had a closer bond in 1989. Although their fans may have desired their union, their true bond was based on respect and trust. With Mel Brooks and Buck Henry in charge, working on Get Smart presented some difficulties. They had high expectations and expected every joke to be delivered flawlessly. Although such pressure made the show fantastic, it also made the task quite demanding. Even when the demands seemed too much to handle, Feldon praised their brilliance. The way they penned Agent 99 particularly impressed her. Female characters in most 1960s television programs were either romantic interests or sidekicks, but 99 was different. She had intelligence and ability. Maxwell Smart is always on par with him, even when he made mistakes while completing assignments. Get Smart distinguished itself from other comedies with that balance. Feldon's favorite episode was the impossible mission, out of all of them. It featured every aspect of the show that she cherished when it aired in 1968. In addition to humor and action, there was a brief romantic moment between 99 and Max. Max tells her in one scenario that he would have liked to live with her in a different situation. The typical comedy gains an emotional element when she interprets it as a proposal. It also included one of the series' finest parodies. Mission Impossible, which was popular at the time, was given a unique twist by Get Smart. A self-destructing tape recorder gives Max commands, much as in the spy drama, but with a ludicrous twist. Max in 99's disguise to elude chaos agents was another highlight. Feldon was able to showcase her comedic abilities by dressing up as Charlie Chaplin and performing a sequence from a silent movie. The episode was a favorite long after the show ended because she appreciated that blend of romance and humor. Become Intelligent Even Now is regarded as a classic comedy on television. Don Adams had a knack for timing things. Agent 99 benefited from Barbara Feldon's charm and intelligence. And the show's creators went beyond what is usually associated with sitcoms. Great comedy never truly ages, as evidenced by the fact that it remains relevant decades later. Following the conclusion of Get Smart in 1970, Barbara Feldon encountered an unexpected challenge. She had portrayed Agent 99 for 5 years, a role that brought her fame. However, that notoriety had a price. Hollywood was unable to see her in any other light. Casting directors only saw the brilliant and fashionable spy, no matter how hard she tried to move on. For a year after the show's conclusion, she hardly worked because of the intense typecasting. People laughed at her presence, even when she tried out for serious parts. Even if the scene wasn't funny, it made no difference. The crowd thought about Agent 99 as soon as she came. She persisted in moving forward. She was invited to appear as a guest on popular shows including Mad About You and Cheers. She portrayed the romantic interest of Sam Malone in a Valentine's Day episode of Cheers. Her portrayal of a former TV spy star in Mad About You was obviously influenced by her own experiences. Although they were enjoyable, these roles had little effect. They served as a reminder of where she was familiar. It was a different time in the history of the entertainment business. Actors had a harder time transitioning from television to movies than they do now. The character that made her famous seemed to be holding her back, and she felt trapped in it. Nothing she tried to break into the film industry was as successful as Get Smart. She co-starred with Dick Van Dyke in Fitzwilly in 1967. It was a humorous, light-hearted show, as well as portraying a romantic interest entangled in a theft. The movie was a success, but it didn't advance her career. She portrayed a Chile, egocentric beauty contest organizer in Smile in 1975. Although the film received positive reviews and was incisive, Feldon did not start over. She starred in several movies, such as No Deposit, No Return, but none of them altered Hollywood's perception of her. It was partly a time issue. Male leads starred in the majority of films during that time. Women were rarely given good roles. Her opportunities in movies were likewise limited because she never gave Los Angeles her all. Despite these disappointments, she didn't focus on the things she couldn't alter. Her attention was on what she could. She secured consistent employment in voiceover and hosting. Her voice gained popularity in the 1970s and 1980s because to advertisements for companies like Revlon. The Tournament of Roses parade and other major events were presented by her, along with entertainment news programming. Without having to deal with the annoyances of typecasting, voiceover work allowed her to maintain a connection with listeners. She eventually discovered that she was more attracted to more subdued, artistic activities, such as writing. However, her feelings about her work as a celebrity were one of the biggest surprises she ever revealed. She never wanted to be famous, so it felt weird when it came to her. At one point, she compared it to living someone else's life. She never thought of herself as a star, yet she was treated like one. She was aware that celebrity may pass as fast as it came. She resisted letting it define who she was. The decisions she made afterward were influenced by that thinking. Her attention shifted from Hollywood to writing instead of pursuing roles. She wrote the book Living Alone and Loving It, which is about being independent. Readers were moved by it and appreciated her candor. Despite being one of the most well-known faces on TV at one point, she refused to let her popularity rule her. Rather, she created a pleasant life for herself, outside of her role as Agent 99. The love life of Barbara Feldon was characterized by passion, heartache, and, in the end, personal growth. In 1958, her first marriage to Lucien Verdoux Feldon began as a dream. He sounded like he was from an espionage thriller, had a European accent, and had a mystery past. In addition to claiming to be a pilot, he made references to being a real spy. It was exciting for a young actress just starting out in show business. Reality, however, quickly caught up. A sinister side existed in Lucien. He battled substance abuse, infidelity, and gambling. Because of his excessive gambling, he spent a large portion of Barbara's winnings from the $64,000 question, in which she had proven to have a remarkable understanding of Shakespeare. He had been pretending to be Barbara, but as the marriage fell apart, she was not. The allure vanished, and disappointment took its place. The marriage broke down in 1967. Despite the divorce, Barbara continued to use his last name in her professional life. She was well known by that point because she was Agent 99 on Get Smart. Additionally, altering her name might have hampered her burgeoning career. Lucien did something unexpected when she died in 1991, years later. She gave a speech at his funeral. Nevertheless, she viewed their time together as an adventure. Despite being traumatic, that period of her life had molded her. Barbara fell in love once more shortly after her divorce. It was with Get Smart producer Bert Nadella this time. For more than 10 years, they were together. From 1968 till 1979, but they didn't get married or have kids. After a while, Barbara came to the conclusion that they were not destined to be life mates. The closeness they had formed maintained even after their relationship ended. They remained close even after they parted ways until Bert's death. This time in her life was a watershed. Following the split, Barbara returned to New York City. But rather of looking for a new romance, she chose to accept her aloneness. Loneliness wasn't the problem. Independence was the cause. For her, being single was not a cause for sympathy. She viewed it as a chance instead. She had the flexibility to develop, pursue new hobbies, and form close connections while living alone. She was not sorry she hadn't gotten married again. Or having kids. The notion that family and marriage were the sources of fulfillment had long been promoted by society. But those expectations never made Barbara feel under strain. She talked openly in interviews about how much she enjoyed being alone herself. She saw how cultural attitudes changed over time. More people grew to believe that one could be content on their own. That was a welcome change for her. Upon reflection, her journey encompassed more than just love and sorrow. It had to do with self-discovery. She demonstrated that happiness can be found in other people. Sometimes it originates within. Living Alone and Loving It by Barbara Feldon offers more than just tips for surviving alone. The termination of her long-term relationship marked the beginning of this personal journey. That would be a loss to most people. She viewed it as a chance. Feldon had been in the news for years, most famously as Agent 99 on Get Smart. However, when she was living alone, she came to a significant realization. It's not necessary to be with someone to be happy. Being single is often interpreted by society as a sign that something is lacking. Feldon is not in agreement. She thinks it might be liberating to be alone. It provides an opportunity for growth. Investigate their own passions and develop a solid sense of self. She offers advice on how to stop thinking negatively and discover joy in daily life in her book. Setting your own hours, making choices without compromising, and figuring out what makes you happy are all freedoms she discusses. People at all phases of life can relate to her comments. Older people adapting to change, while young folks becoming more independent. In order to give her observations a more deliberate touch, she even incorporates advice from authors like as Rainer Maria Rilke. Her message is straightforward at its essence, though. Loneliness does not necessarily follow from being alone. It could also be a period of self-discovery and fulfillment. Fame has never piqued Feldon's attention more than personal development. She never sought fame, but Get Smart made her a star. Although she appreciated the thrill, she was aware of the drawbacks. Being famous can be lonely. Her desire for something more profound became clear to her over time. It came from writing. It evolved into a method for her to better understand herself and establish deeper connections with other people. She is 90 years old and continues to emphasize the value of living a genuine life. She appreciates self-acceptance and simplicity. According to her, success isn't about maintaining fame. Finding contentment in your identity is the goal. Feldon's refusal to accept significant acting roles is among her most unexpected traits. She got to play important roles after Get Smart. She declined them. Even cameos in Get Smart remakes, such as the 2008 film starring Anne Hathaway and Steve Carell, were turned down by her. She believed that the unique qualities of the original would not be captured by these initiatives. In her older years, Barbara Feldon, the actress who portrayed Agent 99 on Get Smart, has opted for a calm and contemplative lifestyle. A short stroll from Central Park and the Guggenheim Museum, she resides alone in a quiet apartment on Manhattan's Upper East Side. The room is lovely and simple, with wooden floors, high ceilings, and lots of light coming in through the wide windows. Her personality is reflected in the space, which is serene, clutter-free, and cozy. Although it wasn't initially her intention, she eventually grew to appreciate the independence that living alone offered. She penned Living Alone and Loving It, a book about finding contentment in solitude, in 2003. She had been dating for years. Although she had previously shared her life and space with others, she gradually came to embrace the tranquility that came with being alone. Writing became one of her favorite things to do. She wrote writings for Metropolitan magazine and released her memoir, Getting Smarter, in 2024. She writes about the lessons she has learned about career, love, and the value of independence. Even though she doesn't perform much these days, she occasionally participates in small theater productions and poetry readings because she enjoys the creative energy of live performances. She likes things that are easy. She makes coffee and curls up with a book every morning after meditating. Her passion is literature, particularly Edith Wharton's writings. She enjoys watching Korean dramas since they are entertaining and calming when she needs a change of pace. Despite spending a lot of time by herself, she is not alone. She refers to her close pals as the pillars of her life, individuals she values and trusts. Additionally, she cherishes the little interactions that occur in everyday life, such as a cordial talk with a shopkeeper or a nice interchange with a barista. She is reminded by these experiences that meaningful relationships aren't the only way to connect. There are moments when it's simply about being aware of and involved with the environment around you. She rarely appears in the media, but when she does, it's usually to honor her earlier work. She even made a comeback as Agent 99 in the 1989 TV film Get Smart Again, gave commentary for the film's 2006 DVD release, and took part in special reunions for Get Smart. She met fans at Supernova Comic-Con and Gaming in Australia in 2019 and fielded questions about her work. She left Hollywood a long time ago, but she still has a strong bond with the show that made her famous. Characters like Agent 99 were uncommon in those days. A woman who was as smart, self-assured, and on level with men. Numerous admirers have expressed to her how much the role meant to them. How she proved to them that women were capable of being equally as strong as men. After the program ended, she was frequently typecast, but she has never felt bad about performing the part. But being smart was never her life's goal. She had an unanticipated claim to fame prior to acting. The Shakespeare Expert question won her $64,000. Her hosting of television shows like Special Edition later in the 1970s shown that she was capable of more than simply stage acting. Although her career took numerous different paths, she adjusted at each turn. She is 90 years old now and still lives her life as she sees fit. She has created a serene, imaginative, and meaningful universe. Her days are devoted to writing, reading, and relishing the little pleasures that come with living her life as she pleases.